Okay, so welcome everybody. This is Azar, your host at Growth Marketing Stories, and today we'll cover a very interesting topic because I know that a lot of people actually pay thousands of dollars to get this, and I wanted to give it to my audience for free so that they can go and act on it and they don't have to go and watch all the gurus on this topic to to buy a course, and they can just listen to the one episode which can get them up and ready, or at least get started and then iterate on top of it. Today we're going to talk about Facebook ads. Usually I cover growth marketing frameworks and mental models, but I feel like since it's a growth marketing topic and acquisition is the most important topic there, and in acquisition, Facebook ad is the most important topic. So I want to cover Facebook ads A to Z so everybody can understand and get the entire content for free so that everybody can act on it and know. But it should become a commodity. It's not something that people should pay for course for it. And sure, it's a bit different than my other podcasts, but it still will have a story. It will still have mental models, but a little bit more tactical that I usually don't cover in my episodes. So today we have Badal. Badal is let me give Badal mic and talk about him and who he is.
Hey guys, thanks Azhar for the introduction. So my name is Badal and I run XLR Media, and we work with some of the biggest D2C brand, e-commerce brand, and some digital info products brands in the US, and we manage their overall growth and Facebook ads particularly for them. And for some of the brand, we manage around from anywhere between from $10,000 to $100,000 to $200,000 a month in ad spends for those brands. So this is what particularly which I do. And yeah, I'm very excited about the podcast and what we are going to discuss today.
So you are an agency and you're running for paid ads for Facebook ads for many e-commerce companies. And so would you say you are also good for B2C and B2B companies as well, or do you just focus on e-commerce only?
Yeah, mainly e-commerce as well as some info product and digital product companies.
Great. Okay, cool. So let's hop into the story first of all. About the story, let me tell you a little bit about how did it started. So I joined this company called Synthesis. Synthesis is a B2C company which actually helps parents and their kids to think so. Basically, Synthesis is a school where education meets games, or games meets education, and through that, kids learn critical thinking and problem solving. And the Synthesis was originally started by Elon Musk. The concept was started by Elon Musk in his school at Ad Astra, and Synthesis was one of the courses that became a scalable product that can not only SpaceX families can use it, but also non-SpaceX family, which is like everybody else, like us and common people, can also have experience. Parents love it, and parents and kids are now playing games. Just by playing games, they learn a lot of mental models, similar mental models that I teach in the episode as well, but in my podcast. But mostly to think critically, to question everything, and then to basically become better people in real life, not just theoretical learning. It's not a school yet, but it's just a course, or I would say it's a class, and it's an enrichment program. So this is what Synthesis is all about. I joined Synthesis in September 2021 as a part-timer to get them up and running within analytics. And my job was initially to understand where are customers coming from, who are our best customers, understand what is our conversion rates, understand how many customers we close per month, and all those details. And then after 1 month, I became full-time. And I took a project in my hand, which was not Facebook ads. My number one thing that I took as a project was Google ads. But the project's main key result was that we should be able to get to 10 million by December 2021. So this episode is happening in December 2021 at the end, and we have achieved 10 million. But the time when I joined, the company was around 3.2 million. So we have 3x star result. And all that happened because of doing some crazy stuff that I can talk on other episode. But the most important thing was doing FB ads the right way. And I want to tell you about my Facebook ads experience. I've tried different different businesses Facebook ads. Okay. And I've also tried have taken 2 to 3 courses on Facebook ad, but there was always something was missing, something that didn't click, that didn't take off, something that was like that didn't get our CAC to LTV ratio make sense. And so I needed a guide, I needed a mentor. I mean, I needed somebody who's just 2 or 3 years ahead of me. I know many channels, but I don't know Facebook ads really well. So what I did was like I reached out to Badal, who was running many e-commerce accounts, and I wanted to really help me understand basically how to run Facebook ads from ground up. And also not only how, but also like I know most of the stuff, and I know 90% of the stuff, but those 10% were really important. And course correction of um, fixing those small mistakes that could lead to large budget leak was something that I wanted to avoid. And that's why I had Badal. So Badal was there to help me out, and I'm so grateful that he was there. Now we are 10 million, and some credit goes to Badal as well because of helping me. So thank you, Badal. And now what I
Yeah.
want to get into is like before getting into like Facebook ads, something that you need to understand about synthesis and persona. So I talked about synthesis. It's just games meet education where kids learn critical thinking. Our persona are moms from or parents from homeschooling families and parents from the gifted families and parents from public school as well, but mostly from tech background. And synthesis was already doing well with our brand ambassador, chief evangelist called Ana Lorena Fabrega, who got us to 1 million by just doing thought leadership well on Twitter. And so I already had some content and ideas around it. Um, so, but like that was not enough. That channel was not enough for me. And so I wanted to understand like if Facebook ad is actually relevant to us. So what I was looking at when our analytics data, I found out a lot of people just through word of mouth without even running any ads, people were coming from Facebook and converting really well. Somebody said in some Facebook group, hey, my in homeschooling Facebook group, like, hey, my kid has just joined this new program. You should also try it, and people converted. But not only understanding through analytics, I also conducted a lot of research. And most of the Facebook ads, most of the marketing has to be connected to your research. And that's where, whenever I tried Facebook ads, one thing I was missing with agencies in general was like they didn't conduct research, they just were relying on our content. And so I said, okay, I will dive into it and understand who's my customer, why do they love us, how they found out about us, what is their journey, how soon they convert. So who I already told you, homeschool moms, gifted kids parents, and generically tech people who understand, who love trying new stuff. These were early adopters and also Elon fans as well. Um, and why they chose synthesis was basically because they wanted some jobs to be done, and those jobs to be done are basically improve critical thinking of the kids, make a lot of kids are already playing Minecraft or Dota or other online games, but those games are addicting, and synthesis was not addicting. Synthesis was something that was teaching them different things and these difficult concepts that they were already getting as kids. And synthesis is actually like kind of a ahead of schools as well because it prepares you for real life. And so they wanted to prepare the kids for real life. But even most importantly, they wanted the kids to be well-rounded individuals whose not only IQ is great, but also EQ as well. And so these were the reasons why I thought like they thought that the synthesis is great for them. And the most important thing that I found out through the entire user research was kids became better communicator and more confident in their decision making skills. And these things parents cannot do alone. Like you need a bunch of people around you to actually get there. And so to understand the entire journey, to understand the entire context, to understand exactly who my customer and their motivation and their selfish interest was something I needed to do before getting into Facebook ads. So great, you will learn all the tactics today, but like the biggest mental model for running any kind of marketing or Facebook ads is to understand your customer the best and try to understand like you need to be sitting in the minds of their them and like thinking like them. So I've done that much research. I've talked to like a lot of parents. I've read a lot of content on the internet. I've read a lot of comments, even like done the social listening as well, like see what they talk about. I've also gone to our community and like try to ask them question on an open forum as well. So basically try to understand your customers well. If you understand your customers well, Facebook ads is not big of a deal, but you still need some course correction. Am I right, Badal?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, what we are not able to get in touch with like the real customer. That's the truth. But what we try to gauge is like mostly through like reviews, whatever the reviews we have in the like from the customers, whatever like the videos we get, and from all those and like if we have Amazon reviews, so we get like we try to get as much as from those, because they help us in writing copies, in understanding how this product is helping and all those stuff as well. So this is how
Got it.
basically we get, but we don't get like as you get told like about the real interaction with the customer, so we don't get that. So
Yeah. So that's why I prefer doing myself first before outsourcing it, especially Facebook ads.
yeah.
And that's why I had a bad experience with agencies. But like Badal has been able to do it for the people, so I'm pretty sure like agencies, some agencies are good. So that's that. So let's think somebody who's a beginner and even as a pro, right? And like
Mhm.
if we have to get into the journey, right? I'll talk about like what happened in the first run. Like we started our Facebook ad campaign in November, right? And so when I was running Facebook ads campaign in November, I tried first of all some ads which are so what I remember you told me as since it's a new account, what you need to do is you need to actually make sure that you run some engagement campaigns if your account is new, right?
Yeah.
So that you don't get
Yeah.
banned. And so Facebook understands this,
Yeah.
and Facebook can see how much budget you
Yeah.
spend. And so I did that. And so that if your account is new, try to run some engagement campaigns early on instead of conversion campaign or traffic campaign to just get the
Yeah.
account warmed up. So that's what I did. And what we did was
Yeah.
like, so I'm gonna share all the ads like based on each month. You can see in the show notes. But what we did was something very poor, which was we we created video on jobs to be done, which was critical thinking, problem solving, and like we asked like a couple of people to do voiceover, and we ran a lot of stock images videos. And even for engagement or even for like conversion campaign, those videos didn't work. And it had a very bad conversion rate. It had very, very bad CTR, click through rate. And so that's what happened. So like the Facebook ads were not working. And after having the engagement campaign done for a week, I started running traffic and conversion campaign. And I always thought personally, if you're running top of the funnel ads, you need to run a traffic campaign, because top of the funnel people, when they get aware of you, they will not immediately convert. They will just get to know about you. Actual people who are going to convert are middle and the bottom of the funnel. And I was wrong. So the biggest insight that I got from you was that, hey, instead of running traffic campaign, try to run conversion campaign. That was the biggest insight I got from you, was that try to run conversion campaigns. And those ads were still not performing in conversion campaign. But I was like, maybe he's right, he's wrong. But I can tell you, after running Facebook ads and converting more than 450 parents in 1 month, conversion campaign is the way to go. You have to start running conversion campaign from Tofu as well, because if I'm correct, you said Facebook actually identifies people who have an intent to buy. So it identifies people for you. And so if you're trying to run a campaign, try to focus on ad objective, which is conversion. That's the key understanding. And so Facebook will find those people for you. So we started running conversion campaigns. So I tried to run traffic campaign. We got 2,000 clicks, no conversion. And we focused on like the fear of missing out. Actually, one of the ad was about school is not enough. Jobs are going to be changed. The future of jobs is about future skills, which are critical thinking, problem solving. Didn't work. What I can tell you why it didn't work initially was because the ad did not have couple of criterias. So one thing that the thumbnail was not interesting. Second, it had stock images. The third, that what I saw personally was that the ad did not stop scrolling people. Like, it was not like engaging. It was not
Yeah.
authentic, right? And so it didn't come across, even though the message was great, even though the topic was great, even though it was targeting the right people. Talking about targeting, the people that I targeted on the Future Skills conversion campaign were basically parents, parents who have kids from 6 to 12, age 24 to 56 in US only. I try to also target interest based on unschool, homeschool, and I also target lookalike. So we will talk into details how you should structure a campaign, but what I can tell you is that you need to, if there's a concept unschooling as an interest, run that as a different ad set. If there's a homeschooling, you need to run that as a different ad set. If there is gifted parents, you need to run that as a different asset rather than jumbling them all together. Correct, Badal?
Yeah.
Right.
Because then
Exactly.
only you will know which audience is performing and which ad set is performing, and accordingly you can scale those and you can find the winning audiences.
Yeah. So that's that. So Tofu is basically top of the funnel, Mofu is middle of the funnel, and Bofu is bottom of the funnel. And then I also ran Tofu as a transformation where I try to convert existing. So this was no. Wait. So top of the funnel, Future Skills conversion campaign, and in that conversion campaign, I see is that we had like two different kinds of ad. One was want to develop critical thinking skills, and the other was school is teaching. Is not teaching. School is not enough for kids. So that was that, and the campaign didn't work. But there was one campaign in that Facebook ad worked really well. We got 50 customers within 2 days, and that ad was Elon ad. So back in days, Nick Sharma, a very famous D2C paid marketing specialist, said, you know what, you should actually run your Facebook top of the funnel ads based on the fact that it's a publication, and tell the story about why, right? Rather than what, tell them why they are existing. And that's what he calls like performance branding, something like that as a concept. But basically tell the story rather than tell them benefits. So I said, okay, well, I learned this concept from him and I will run that ad. And what I did was like, first I tried to run, I put Elon face on the left side and I put Synthesis logo on the right side. And I ran a campaign to that publication instead of us. Okay. And when I ran that campaign on top of the funnel, I didn't get that many conversions. But then what I did, I said, okay, let's try driving to our landing page. And that landing page has everything, the story, the jobs to be done, the benefits, the social proof, everything is like, it's perfect landing page. I ran that and we got 54 conversions. But then something happened. We got banned.
Yeah.
And Facebook ad banned us because I was actually violating a very
policies.
big best practice that I did not know before, was that you should not run ads on public figure. So basically, Elon, although he was indirectly associated with Synthesis, we cannot run it unless we ask Elon to run that ad from his ad account as a whitelisting influencer, which we will get into later. But like, what I can tell you is that putting Elon's ad was kind of a problem for Facebook. We still don't know exact reason why they banned us, and I was completely freaking out. So I went to Badal and said, hey Badal, they have banned us, what do you think about it? Badal, you still believe that you can still run on celebrity, because you showed me a couple of accounts where they're using Mark Zuckerberg's. Can you tell us why do you still believe so that you should run I'm never gonna run a celebrity phase anymore, so I want to know why you still think it's okay to run celebrity phases and stuff like that.
Yeah, because if you will see, lots of people are running, as I've sent you few of Mark Zuckerberg's ads, so lots of people are running and lots of people will still continue to run, because there are lots of brands which I see which have just face of the public figure, and they are not like directly associated with them, but like as they are face of their brand, right? So they still utilize the like person in the ads to convert better. So I feel like people will use that. And Facebook ads is something like it will ban you for a reason, and for the same stuff will be run by like another person, and he will not get banned. So it's like you need to take that risk, but I feel it's kind of like you got banned, but other people are not getting banned for the same reason.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is your opinion. I have to see somebody else and talk about more examples, see more examples so I can see it. I talked to their chat support, and they said you should actually get approval from the public figure if he's your partner or something like that. Only then you can run it. Anyway, one thing that I learned in that campaign also was that you need to maximize your daily budget every day. If you maximize your daily budget every day, only then Facebook will increase it. We started with $50 a day. It took us like, I think, 7 to 10 days to maximize that budget to actually Facebook increasing our budget. And I think it took them 20 to 25 days to really like give us free hand to spend as much money on Facebook ads. So like that was a key learning for me that I didn't know before. And so yeah, that's another learning. But before getting into now to the second story, the success story, let's ask a couple of questions to Badal about how to do things, and then we will look at, since this is an example, and see what did I apply from his ideas. Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you questions, and you can answer it as content, and then we can see how it goes. So first of all, simple question: what kind of businesses find value on Facebook ads according to you?
Yeah, basically I feel like any business that is in need of customer will find value through Facebook ads, whether it's like e-commerce, whether it's digital product, whether they need like it's a restaurant or a doctor, or in like any business that is in need of, you can say, customer will find value through Facebook ads. And but I know specifically about e-commerce and digital products, so I can talk a lot about them.
What about B2B products? The reason why I wasn't successful enough on Facebook was because I know at certain point B2B was really great because you could target the designations of people and then try to convert them. But Facebook doesn't do that anymore. And so do you think B2B still find it useful? Because I don't see many B2B people are talking about Facebook as much as LinkedIn.
Yeah, but I feel like it is still valuable, but it is not as scalable as like what at scale we do in digital or e-commerce products. But it's like it's still valuable, and you need to nail down the offer as such. But it's not like as we do in e-commerce, because or like digital product, because Facebook is major acquisition channel, but into B2B there are other acquisition channels as well, and Facebook is like not as much big there.
So I would still refrain. I would disagree with B2B. Like, I think B2B should actually figure out some other channel first. If they have a longer sales cycle, and enterprise software might not find it. It's great for branding, but I've run four B2B ads, and four of different businesses did not succeed on Facebook. So that's like my experience. Like, listener can take whatever they take from it, but like that's my experience. So let's say somebody is just starting the campaign, right? And they're starting the campaign, and we talked already about warming up the account and engagement campaign. How do you structure a campaign? Like, how many campaigns should you have in Facebook ads?
Yeah. So the first thing is like, Facebook ads can only work for you if you have existing offer as existing landing page that converts, right? Facebook ads will not do anything if your offer or landing page is not converting, right? So that's the major thing. Like you should have your offer, your landing page, your product, which is something like the market wants and it's already converting. Then only like you will be successful with your Facebook ads. And once you nail it down, then it comes to like as I told you, there are many best practices to follow. Like you should follow simplified ad account structure. Like you should not create a lot of campaigns. Like have at most like 5 campaigns, and like in each campaign run like different campaigns for customers of every stage of funnel. Like for cold audience, top of the funnel campaign, run like have different campaigns for them. Like for remarketing, basically like for middle of the funnel, Mofu, have different campaign for it, and like for bottom of the funnel have different campaign for this. And for each audience,
sorry, are you talking about campaign or different ad sets of each campaign?
Yeah, Yeah, like for different campaign for every stage of the funnel.
Okay, so you're saying like every stage of the funnel should have a different campaign. So
Yeah,
I have like 4 campaigns running right now. I started with 3
yeah,
campaigns. So you say at most you should run
yeah,
5, but not more than that.
yeah, like 5 to 6, like that I feel you should try, like
L-
not to go beyond that,
Let's say
because
your audience is global. This is something I have a question. So my audience is
yeah,
global, and I'm just
yeah.
targeting US and Canada right now. Do you think when I run
Mhm.
all the campaigns, I should just add the country in it, or should
Yeah.
I like run different campaigns based on each different country?
Yeah, so basically what I feel, if it's already converting US and Canada, try not to disturb the campaign which is already performing. Take what's performing, your best performing audience and best performing creatives in US and Canada, and just change, like create another campaign and just change the location in there and see how it goes.
So if I understood correctly, keep running the campaign and just use the same campaign and change the location. That's it. So if somebody you're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
run Germany, Canada, like okay, got it.
yeah,
Um, Understood. Then so that was a question. So you said 4 to 5, and so let's get into a little bit nitty gritty. So let's say you have a top of the funnel campaign. In top of the funnel
yeah.
campaign, how many ad sets should you have, and what's the criteria of having the ad set?
Yeah. So basically, I feel you should have 3 to 5 ad sets, not more than that, because if you have more ad set, then like Facebook will not be able to allocate budget to everyone, and then you will not be able to figure out which one is performing and which one is not. So if you need to keep testing. Let's say like you have 3 to 5 ad set right at the moment, and after 3 to 5 days, like 3 to 4 days, you figure out that this ad set is not performing, then you can turn it off and include other ad set, right? So this is how you can keep testing and you can keep maintaining the performance of your like ad set. And in each ad set, make sure that you don't have more than 3 to 5 creatives as well, because once you have a lot of creative, then as in ad set you can also have control over, you can do abo, so you can control budget over ad set, right? But like in creative you cannot control the budget, right? So if you have more than 4 to 5 creatives, then you will never know which one is your winning creative, or which creative is even performing and which one is not. So
Got
I
it.
feel that's the best place to be in. Have 3 to 5 ad set and 3 to 5 creatives.
So ad set, you mean that basically try targeting different audiences in each campaign. Let's say it's a
Yeah,
tofu campaign, and there are 3 different audiences, and each
yeah,
different audience should have similar ads, so you know which
yeah,
audience is working. It should not be different ads for different ad sets. So it should be one type of ad for
yeah, yeah,
different
for
audience,
sure.
and see which audience is actually clicking. One question for you is that
Yeah,
let's focus on top of the funnel. What do you usually recommend
yeah.
in top of the funnel? Like what audiences you should try if you're a B2C company or e-commerce company?
Yeah. So basically, like in top of the funnel, start with interest based audiences, and as well as like look alike and broad audiences. When I say interest based audiences, let's say you are selling like as cosmetic, right? Target people who are interested into skincare, like target people who are interested into cosmetics. And when it comes to lookalike, then people who have purchased from you in past 180 days, make 1% lookalike of them, right? And this is something once you will start, you won't get great results on every of the ad set, right? Some ad set will give you good cost per acquisition and good ROAS, but some ad set will not give you. So you need to turn those ad set off, and the ones which are performing well, then you need to like keep them running and scale them, and which one are not performing, you can turn them off, and just keep testing on, right, ad sets, like for lookalikes and other interest based audiences.
Got it. So I'll bring synthesis example back, and I have my ad account open for top of the
Yeah,
funnel as well, so we can talk about it. So right now I'm running top of the funnel ads, and the first campaign I ran that was last month was on homeschooling. So I targeted homeschooling,
yeah,
US and Canada, parents 20 to 55. And because that's what I saw most people convert in that age. And there is also one more thing, like in US and Canada, when Facebook gives you this ability, you need to go in the Facebook, and when you see the Canada, it will say people who Facebook by default gives you people living or recently in this location. Means if somebody is moving to this location, also
yeah,
gets targeted. What I do is click on people living in
yeah,
this location, so they actually have the complete like exact location in that area, right? And then based on interest based targeting is mean that, if for example homeschooling is like really important audience that I told you, a lot of parents do homeschooling, and the reason why synthesis is good because it's a complementary subject that they can teach without being there for the kids, because they take other courses. And then I also niche down into like only talk about demographics, which is 6 to 8 years, and parents with preteens, which is 9 to 12 years. And that's basically it. And one thing that I also did when I was running an ads campaign, and this is a question for you, Badal, should you run ad campaign like automatic placement or manual placement? What do you recommend when you're running an ad set based on it? Like,
I feel like, based on the performance, most of the time I do automatic placement. So like wherever Facebook finds, like, give control to Facebook's machine learning, that wherever he finds, like, you can get cost per acquisition, good cost per acquisition, it will show your ad to those audiences. And one is like, automatic placement, and second is like, 9:16, right? So those Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and Instagram reels. So if you can create 9:16 specifically for those placements, like creative, then it can also perform well. So if you can do these two things, automatic placement and 9:16, then it's great.
Yeah. So that was, so getting back to audiences. So that was one audience that I was targeting. The second one I was targeting, no interest except somebody who is interested in SpaceX, Elon Musk, or Tesla. So anybody who was interested in these three topics, I was targeting them. And then I also was targeting lookalike audience. So like what I did was I uploaded a list of my customers, and Facebook found around 2.5 to 3 million people who are similar to my customers and showing them ads. So I was running that as well. And now I have like two different campaigns running. One is basically gifted kit campaign. So like we have a targeting based on interest, which is I would say interest. I'm just looking at it. The interest is audience. It's looking for it. So basically, anybody who is interested in hoagies, anybody who's interested in parents with Center of Talented Youth, or anybody who is interested in gifted education, I'm just targeting them, and that's my audience in terms of ad set. And the last campaign I'm running, which was also recommended by Badal, was like run a broad campaign. So like only parents, US and Canada. You will recommend don't have age or like certain parents of that specific age. Just run as broad as possible. I didn't run that, but like, why do you recommend people running the broad campaign, and why is it interesting?
Yeah, one thing is like, when you get like, lots of purchases in your pixel, then your pixel has data which are the people who buy from you, right? Which is your ideal audiences. So now Facebook know who is your ideal audience, and like if you give like, the algorithm, Facebook's algorithm, full like, broad audience, that they can go out and search for your audiences and like get good purchases from wherever they want, then like, you can get really good cost per acquisition from those campaigns. And I feel like, it's something like which doesn't works every time, but like, if your broad audiences works, then you can scale it a lot, right? Because now you have lots of audiences, like 25 to 30 million peoples in there, like to whom you can show your ads, and you can scale those budgets. So that's one reason I feel broad audience perform really well.
Makes sense. Okay. So that was for Tofu. For Mofu, what do you recommend when somebody's trying to run campaigns? What do you recommend to start getting into Mofu? Like what kind of audiences you should target?
Yeah. So like when you are just starting, then start with like, people who have visited your website past 30 days, people who engage with you on Instagram in past 30 days, people who engage with you on Facebook in past 30 days. Just make like, different ad set for each of these audiences. And like, for all these audiences, show them like, different like creatives, right? As we discussed previously, to all these audiences, like show them testimonial, show them reviews. And like whenever someone is going to buy your product, then they will have some kind of like, things in the mind, some questions. Why should they buy your product, right? So you should answer those questions in this, like you can say, in this middle of the funnel, like creatives, then you should be able to clear their doubts and why they should buy your product, and show them like reviews and testimonial that your product is changing life and how it's impacting to people.
Got it. Got it. Makes sense. So I'm actually running right now is I'm targeting people who are 25% video viewers, interacted with
Yeah.
social accounts but 90 days, and came to my website
Yeah.
last 80 days, and which is kind of converting. What's
Yeah.
your opinion on that?
Yeah, like it's good, like if because you can go till like 180 days for website visitors, and like for, you can say, like for other things you can go till, like for engages you can go till 365 days. So I would prefer, like if your audience is performing till 180 days, then go with that, because now you will have lots of, like your audience pool will be greater, and you will be able to convert a lot of from middle of the funnel as well. So yeah.
Okay.
And like
Okay.
as you told about, like if you're running a lots of videos on top of the funnel, then retarget those people, like make custom audience of people who have watched 75 to 50 above 50%, and try to retarget them. And if like
Yeah.
you are getting good cost per acquisition, then yeah, keep it running.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. So I personally have a question around. So what kind of ads should you run on middle of the funnel? Like, what kind of ads should you show? Top of the funnel is like, what I remember is like, run like stop scrolling ad that talks about the benefit and why people should try it and why is it so interesting. Anything which is new, which is like interesting for people to stop scrolling and look into it. For example, recently I'm getting targeted on my Facebook is like center.com, which is like Chris Hemsworth's training app that helps me how to do this, that. For homeschooling and gifted kids, I'm targeting like a video, I'm targeting an image, I'm telling like with single image and making them curious enough to go click on the landing page, right? We will get into ad creative, but for middle of the funnel, what kind of ads should you run?
I feel like for middle of the funnel, basically you should focus on, first thing is reviews, testimonial, what customers are saying about the product. Then like
I think
they
all
might
of
have
the same
objection,
thing.
right?
All of these
Yeah,
are
like
same,
and like objections, right? Like if your product if your product is too pricey, why, like it's like why they should pay for it, right? Transformation, like how this guy, like was doing this and now he's doing this. If you like do all this stuff, like they perform really well in middle of the funnel. And if you are like physical product, right, then you can also send like product experience, what was experience when they opened this product, how they felt about the product, and all those kind of stuff. So they
yeah.
perform really well in middle of the funnel.
So on Facebook, I'm running a New Year offer, which is right now getting run, like trying to get some people convert through that. But like, I'm running a testimonial by parents which has a different creative altogether, has motion graphics in it. And then I'm running how kids talk about synthesis, a testimonial from kids. Then I'm talking about what parents love about synthesis, running that testimonial as well. So these are like just running just testimonials. One thing I learned about testimonial, when you run the ad of testimonials, don't put the testimonial in the ad. Talk about the benefit of your product through the testimonial of the ads. So for example, one of the ad is about like, oh, my kid actually learned to become more empathetic, right? So I'm not quoting in the copy the same testimonial. I'm saying, do you want your kids to be more empathetic and communicative? And that's something that, like, asking a question, making a statement, saying something surprisingly counterintuitive, counter narrative is something that I've seen that really working well on Facebook on middle of the funnel and converting. So that was middle of the funnel, right? And so let's say I've tried all of these objection stuff. Any other ideas that you have on middle of the funnel, either in the audience interest or in the creative that you have seen often?
Maybe like you can, in terms of audiences, you can make like other audiences, like people who have saved your post in past like 180 days on Instagram and all those. But you can also run hey, I saw you came to our website, and but that looks sniffy. But you can also run all those kind of ads. But I feel those which we discussed previously were major ones which you can focus on.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so let's move into the bottom of the funnel. What kind of audiences should you focus on bottom of the funnel, and what kind of ads they should be looking at?
Yeah, basically in bottom of the funnel you can run ads like audiences like people who have added to cart your product in past 180 days, people who are you can say top 10% of your website visitors, like people who have viewed your product pages, view content, right? So all those people are and also if you are selling something which is like people can buy again and again, that can be also you can include people who have purchased in past 180 days, so you can resell them, right? So you can include all those audiences in bottom of the funnel. And basically there are many things you can do in bottom of the funnel. You can also run catalog ads, which is show them whatever the product they have seen previously, show them again in the ads. Some brands try to give them offer 10 get 10% of discount, that also you can do. And yeah, that were some major things which you can do in the bottom of the funnel. Offer is something which many brands do. If you have seen many brand prefer to give offer in the for the bottom of the funnel audience specifically. So yeah, all those things you can do in bottom of the funnel.
Would you recommend, so like for example, New Year campaign, Black Friday campaign, all the event-based campaigns, should you add your creative in the existing campaign, or should you make a completely new campaign, a completely new ad interest which is actually working for you, and then target them? So what's your recommendation? Because what I've done is I've created a completely new audience interest, brought everybody in that thing, and just run campaign for 10 days, and then I'll turn it off. Know what I mean? So it doesn't affect my other ad set. I want to learn from you about what you think about
that. But that's a good way. I also do the same, which is make a different campaign for holidays specifically. And what my major focus is when you are running through this time is focus on your existing audience, right? Because during this time, during Black Friday, during holidays, the CPMs are through the roof. So what many brands do, and what we also do, is during September, during October, during August, you can increase your budgets, right? So you have lots of audiences in your pool, in your website visitors and everyone, people who engage with you on social. So you can retarget those audiences. And when you are running this sale campaign, right, you can make people who have visited your website, people who engage with you, just make people who have added to cart your products, just make custom audience of those people, make completely new campaign, and use this you can say images and new creatives in there. Also schedule the campaigns from the start date to end date, because sometimes you will not be able to you will not be there beside your computer at 12 a.m, so it will turn it off automatically. Many people just forgot to turn it off. So yeah.
Okay, so I am running on the bottom of the funnel, I'm running all the email leads, people who've given us emails and did not become customer. I'm converting them. I am also targeting people who converted through Pixel. Our Pixel has recorded a conversion to becoming an email and didn't convert. I'm running people who didn't convert basically through Pixel or email or so these are people I'm trying to get into, but also add to cart as well. So people who gave their email address, finished step 7 but did not finish 8, 9 and 10. So trying to focus on them as well, and so for specifically those kind of people, what I do is I have a copy that says still not convinced question mark. This is why you should give synthesis a try, because and then it says confidence to grow leadership skills, interactive and collaborative learning, not lectures. And then the ad says 7 things. So we have 7 reasons why I should try synthesis. And that campaign worked really well for us, that ad creative. And also my bottom of the funnel, I mean, still it's not converting as well as it should be. But what I learned from this campaign was that we were driving people to a different landing page, which was our actual app page. And apparently people who have given their email address and have gone half of the way, they still would like to go through, get more information on a landing page before they continue the journey. So I thought they will continue the journey by just going to the app page, but they didn't go to the app page. They went to the landing page, and landing page taught them more and then moved them. So learning is create different landing pages. Don't directly take them to directly the place where they dropped off. Instead, like give them more information. And so that's what I did, and it worked out pretty well for us. So that was the bottom of the funnel ad that worked really well. So that's that. So let's get into some couple of questions. How much budget should you allocate as an early starter on Tofu, Mofu, and Bofu, like percentage wise and dollar wise?
I feel like, you should have, like, when you're just starting, start with 70% of your budget on Tofu, 20% on Mofu, and like 5 to 10% of Bofu. This is like, I feel it's a good distribution when you are starting, but like you will not get this exactly, because according to the performance, you will be increasing or decreasing the budget. But it's just like, the rough estimate on how you should go about it. And apart from this, like you should at least, I feel like, start with like $3,000-4,000 per month budget, like when you are just starting, because either like otherwise you won't get data and enough learning on what's working and what's not working for you.
Yeah. So my key learning about the budget was that like keep like 10,000 at least in the bank. Try these different things. I think the reason why I got successful to the phase after fifth attempt was because I had enough budget and enough room to understand what's not working, and then double down on what's working, and like keep hope and run it for at least 2 to 3 months to see the result, and not just give up in like 10 days. What I see a lot of people do is they give up in 10 days and they're like, okay, fuck it, Facebook doesn't work, so let's not focus on it. So that's my learning as well. The next thing is like, what are some powerful targeting that you've seen work really well on Facebook ads, on audience
like in terms level? I feel there's not such and powerful targeting, because what I feel is like for every ad account which I see, every ad account is different, and whatever we do, if some audience is working well in this account, it will not work well in that account, right? So like every ad account is different, and you should keep testing, and whatever you find is working, and like try to duplicate and try to double down on those stuff. If lookalike 1% is working, then try to also do 5%. Try different kind of lookalikes. If some broad audiences targeting is working, then try to do that kind of stuff. So like what's working, try to double down on that stuff. And like I feel like every ad account is different, and the thing which you will find is what's working in this will not work the same in that ad account. So yeah, that's the key thing which I would say.
So would you recommend so I have like customer lookalike. Would you also recommend leads lookalike as well?
Yeah, like I feel like if customers lookalike is performing well, try leads lookalike as well. It also performs well. So
quick addition to your actual thing. So I've tried like 2 different kinds of ads that were very powerful. One was engage shopper. So anybody who has recently bought on detailed targeting, anybody who's recently bought on Facebook is something that worked really well for me. But then when I tried it on other ad sets, it didn't work. And then I tried to run top 5% of income, because like since this is a bit more expensive product comparatively. So I thought, okay, people who are in zip codes with rich, higher income background, perhaps they would convert better, didn't convert better. And now I'm planning to run some powerful ad targeting on city based. So like if somebody's in San Francisco, and we know that San Francisco people have higher purchasing power, and so focus on that specific city parents and talk about like, hey, you should try this. Or tech, like for example, one of our personas like tech parents who are like understand how Elon has actually like changed the world of tech and how important he is, and try to run ads on them on them as well. So these are the 2 I'm going to try soon. So that's the kind of targeting I've seen. But I think what you said is correct. Like try different things. Like there's no one right answer, and at some point that right answer also become wrong answer if the CAC goes higher. So like there's no one short quick hack that you can do. But just like keep testing it, and that's the key learning for me as well. Okay, so let's get into the next topic. So this is the most interesting question, and I think that's an advanced level question that I want you to answer for other people. Is that
Yeah.
how do you drive CAC down? Like now we know my
Yeah.
CAC is, let's say, $200 and it's working. Like, how do I make sure that the CAC is going down? Because what I've seen is as you scale on Facebook ads, the more
Yeah.
money,
Yep.
the more the CAC goes up rather than CAC is going down. So like, tell me, like,
Yeah.
how do we reduce CAC on Facebook ads?
Yeah. So, like, first thing is like make sure whatever we discuss, you are following the best practices, like in terms of like you are using, you are having different campaigns for every stage of the funnel, using different creatives and all those. So, this is like, mandatory things that you should keep on doing, right? So, this is the first stage. And once you do that, like, try to, like, as you test more audiences and more creatives, so that is the only way, like, you can get, like, you can increase your, like, you can decrease your CAC, right? So if there are, like, any, like, if you find more winning audiences, or like, a more winning creatives, like a creative which is performing better, then you can, like, get, like, you can reduce the CAC from that only. And there are no hacks. And other than that, like, try different landing pages. So this is also something which is working very well. So as you said about tech, right? So, like, target people who are in tech, and like have specific creative for those people, and drive them to the landing page where, like, it, like, handles the objection, and it, like, talks to those specific people who are into tech. So this is something which can be also, like, if you can test different sales angles, which is like target different people with different creatives and send them to the landing page, then it can also work.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, like, if you can, it's like, I feel like it's 10 times easier to increase your conversion rate, and like your average order value, then it's trying to, like, just do everything on your, on the Facebook ad side, right? Because, like, I feel like Facebook ads, like, when you do Facebook ads, it's just like, around, like, 30 to 40% you have the control, and other than that is, like, your creatives, your existing offers, your average order value, and all those. So if you can also work on your backend, then it can be really helpful for you.
Interesting. One thing I would say, like, which I learned from the Common Thread Collective, is that I think you need to go back and look at the data of your ads and see if they
Yeah.
actually follow the IDA framework: attention, interest, desire, and action. And
Yeah.
if you're able to grab attention in the first 3 seconds, and like, I remember one of the ads of Common Thread Collective, which is actually selling bed sheets, and the person who was actually on the ad is saying, sheet, and they're like, what is sheet? Like your sheet smell
Yeah.
bad, right? And
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh, I'm talking about the bed sheets because they smell bad, and you should try our bed sheets because they are great. And so
Yeah.
it just quickly clicked in my mind, okay, you know what, like, you need to call out your customer not only on your copy but also on your
Yeah.
ad, grab their attention in a way
And
that's actually interesting. I actually almost ran an
yeah.
ad and didn't run it, was because, so like a pattern disrupt ad, like for example, instead of like 180-degree tilted and like bring it in back, you say,
Yeah.
oh, why this person moved around, right? That worked
Yeah.
pretty well.
Like,
I personally have
and like,
all those Chris Hemsworth ad where they're like picking up and like transformation, like, oh my god, how this guy
yeah.
transformed, like something that is very surprising to me is something that
Yeah.
I've done. And I recently bought one ad from Facebook recently, is through is masterclass ads, because that was about get one and gift one for free, which was the reason why I converted, was because of amazing offer. The offer was so good, I could not say no to that
Yeah.
offer, and I had to go and convert because I felt like I was getting a deal out of it. And so these
Yeah.
are my learning on how to create powerful ads.
Yeah.
But you were right that I mean,
Yeah. And also,
I'm driving at least like 1,000+ people on my website every day. So optimizing for that
yeah.
specific page is actually better than a multiple page that you're driving, than like
Mhm.
and that I have not personally focused on. So I'm gonna go and do that and try to improve conversion rates from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
that's the answer to it. Do you want to add something?
yeah, and one more thing you can do is like make custom columns, which is like your impression to 3 second video view ratio. If your impression to 3 second video ratio is about 25%, then your video is getting your first 3 second hook. And if it's less than 25%, then your video does lack three second hook. You need to work on that. So that is something which like I would add
how
key
do I find
addition
it?
to it.
Now I'm on my ads and I'm going on my Tofu ads, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Like
go
you
to.
will need to you will need to create this custom like column.
Okay, I'm going there. So
So
I'm
when
clicking
it
on video engagement,
yeah
right? And on video
yeah.
engagement, I see my video is, let's say, like 44,000 people have seen it. Like, how do I do the calculation?
So can you go to like customize column?
Yeah, let me share the screen.
Yeah.
The customized column that we made last time. You mean?
Yeah. Like your
Okay.
yeah
I'm here. Okay. And
yeah
then we go
yeah.
to
Click
customized
on here.
column.
Yeah.
And then we go to
Yeah.
customized column. Okay.
No
Then
no
we,
like yeah, customize column.
okay. Then
Yeah.
what should
Now
I write
create
here?
custom metric.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Create custom metric. Can you see in blue?
Oh, yeah, I can see it. Create custom metric
Can
video.
yeah. Like
Ah,
write the name video
got it. Okay.
view
So you click on create
impression
custom
to video
metric.
view.
And then you say video ratio. What should be like? What metric should I be using there?
Impression to video view ratio. Then
Impression to video view ratio to, and then that should be like 3 seconds. You're saying.
yeah, like impression to 3 second video view ratio. Then it should be at least 25%.
So impression should be
So
above and
like
divided by video view ratio. You mean? Or
no, like
impression
three
should be
second
down.
video view. Yeah, and like it should be about 25%.
Got it. Okay, that's really useful because I'm gonna try that as well and see how that is going to work. That's a really good tip. Okay, so then the next topic is what kind of creatives work really well on Facebook ads. I mean, we've talked about it. Video ads really work well, but like according to you, like yeah, like so people say like I've tried 30 seconds, I've tried 60-second videos as well, I've tried like 15-second video as well. I mean, there's no right answer, but like in general, like what do you think? Like what kind of creatives are working really well, especially on top of the funnel? Because the bottom and the middle of the funnel, people have an idea, but top of the funnel is something that people struggle with.
Yeah. So what I feel is like in terms of creatives, is first thing is like you need to make sure you are following all the best practices, right? Like your video view is like your video format. You have 4:5. You have 9:16 videos. Then like apart from this, like you have like first 3 second hook. You are showing like USPs and everything of your product. Then like you are including captions right in the video because majority of people watch the videos while sound is turned off. So first thing is like you need to make sure that you have like you are following all these best practices. And apart from this, like what I have learned is like focus more on like quantity instead of quality, right? Sometime as I told, like sometime you will focus and work hard really and create one video in 2 weeks and it won't perform like which you thought like it would perform really well. And sometimes you will just go into Canva and just make a video like an image in 5 minutes and it would outperform everyone else. So if you focus more on quantity, like if you will test more creatives, then for sure you will get better idea on which kind of videos are performing well. And yeah, and you can focus double down on those kind of creatives. And what I've also found, like static image and all those, if you just like have a good hook in the image, just like that also performs really well. But every ad account is different and the creatives which perform well is different. So what you need to do is like test different and what's working for you, double down on that, right? If you see this kind of creative is working very well in my ad account, just create more of those type of creatives. That will help you to not only like sustain the performance and scale it, right? So
Yeah. So what I have personally seen is that like, so the way I get ideas on creative is like there's a tool called adbox.com, and like adbox has a lot of different e-commerce videos and images, and like so I get inspiration from there. I also get inspiration from the best campaign that have ever been done in marketing, and try to look at that, and like also try to look at like what I see is that instead of me looking and thinking of ideas, I go look at people who are already managing a lot of Facebook ads. So, like for example, Nick Sharma. So I look at Nick Sharma's like brands, Sharma brands, and from Sharma brands, I look at like one of the Facebook ads library and see what they are running and try to imitate that. So I don't have to completely come up with original idea. I can just like see what other people are doing and then still like add my layer to it. So that's what I've seen. And so and I guess so I've tried running static ads, tried running Facebook like video ads. There's no one short answer. What I can tell you is that it all depends how you grab the attention. That's it. If you grab the attention with the right message and the right creative, people are going to click on it, basically. And you have to make them curious enough to go read more.
Right? And the job of your ad is just to get the clicks, not and the job of your landing page is to convert them. So you need to make sure that you are getting clicks on your ad and your landing page is converting them.
Yeah. So I think the job of the ad is to get the attention to click and that landing page to convert, right? Okay, cool. Then let's think about UTM structure. I think this is something that I was really initially as a beginner was struggling with. So I know how UTM structure works, but I had to Google a video. Whenever you click on build a parameter. So first of all, Facebook ads should always have build a parameter, and you should always have that. Don't have any link shortener in it, nothing. You should directly go to that page, and in the build parameter, when you click on the page, always have a UTM in it. So I even made a smaller mistake. It seemed like too small, but it was really important. Just changing the case of Facebook ads from small f to bigger uppercase F. It created two different analysis and I had to analyze two different things. So build parameters run Facebook ads as the first one, and then I do it instead of CPC paid social, so I can differentiate between Google CPC and Facebook CPC. And then I run ad campaign name, campaign name which Facebook gives, ad set which Facebook gives, and then either it's a single image video or so basically that. So that's what I think about it. But let's get in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel one better thing is just to create your UTM parameter once when you go to build, and have custom field in everyone, so you can just build that parameter one and every time you can just paste it. So it's much better way that you don't get.
With me, I didn't do it. So good one. Let's get into the analytics of it, how to analyze an ad, how to find out if that creative, that campaign, that ad set is working. How do you do that?
Yeah, major thing is when you start to analyze is your ROAS and your CAC, right? So
you can explain what is ROAS? Not a lot of people outside of e-commerce understand ROAS.
Yeah. So ROAS is your purchase conversion value divided by amount spent. Means let's say you have made you have got the purchase of 1,000. You have sold 1,000 rupees of product, and you have spent $1,000 of product, and you have spent $500 for it. So 1,000 divided by 500, then it will be 2. Your ROAS is 2, right? Let's say if you have spent you have sold a product of $100 and you have spent for $50 for it, then your ROAS will be 2. So this is how ROAS works. It's your purchase conversion value divided by amount spent. So every time you are gonna make decision in your ad account is by seeing ROAS and your you can say you are gonna make decision in your ad account based upon your ROAS and your cost per purchase, right? Let's say if any you need to, first thing is you need to know your numbers, right? What is your target ROAS? What is your target cost per acquisition? Whenever an ad is is above, is an ad set has above ROAS above your target ROAS, then you need to turn it off. Whenever a creative has the ROAS above your target ROAS, then you can.
Okay. So right now my target cost is $200, but my ROAS would be 10x right now because our lifetime value is around $2,500. And I've decided my target cost should be not more than $200. After $200, $250, I turn off the ad.
Yeah, like your like lifetime value is $2,500, right? So like
Yeah.
currently your cost per acquisition is like $200. So but if you want to scale it, right? Currently, if you are getting like two to 300 like customers per month, and if you want to scale it to like 1,000 or 1,500, it will like for sure go like about $200. So you need to make that sense, and like you need to discuss it with the team. What's that optimal stage till where we can go, right? Can we spend like 300 to $400 to acquire the customers? So
Okay. Okay.
accordingly you need to make sure like whatever your
Let's dive
target
into a
cost per
little
acquisition
bit
is.
deeper. Let's dive into a little bit deeper into like
Yeah.
metrics. What metrics should be? So you made me a custom metrics that we did like, so my
Yeah.
custom metrics is different. And so in general, just for the people to understand, like if they want to set up their custom metrics, how they should set up to actually analyze that, because there's so many metrics on Facebook, you can actually like you can get so confused with it. So I just want to
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah. So whenever you are saying about the metrics, go towards backwards, which I feel is good one. So let's say like start with purchase, then initiate checkout, then add to cart, then landing page view, then CTR. So this is like backward. You are going like backward. So like also like with this metrics you can include like your what's your cost per purchase, what's your cost per checkout initiated, right? So like when you will see this metrics, then just a second. Yeah, so like when you will see the metrics when you are going backward, then also one thing which you will see where there is leak in the metric, right? Let's say your add to cart to purchase ratio is very less, then you will get that like I need to make my checkout seamless, right? Like if your landing page to add to cart is less, then you need to make sure that like your landing page, you need to work on your landing page to make it convert. If your CTR is not good, then you will know that like your ad creative sucks. So once you customize this metric in this way, like then you will get better idea on what's working and what's not working, and where you can improve on your whole ads, right? Because like if an ad is not performing well, it's not the ad is not performing well, there are many moving parts to it. Like you need to go deep where it's for the reason, and you need to work and improve on that.
Got it. Got it. So what I understood from you was that look at the purchase, look at the CTR percentage, then look at cost per thousand impressions, and look at like how many clicks it
Yeah.
gets, and then even later on look at your specific like landing page on the Google Analytics, see how many people are bouncing off from it to actually see if that ad is working or not. So one thing I want to know is like,
Yeah.
this is a common question, I think, between Facebook ads data and Google Analytics data. What should you be actually trusting more? Is it Google Analytics data or Facebook ads data?
It like it depends. Like other people do other kind of stuff, but I feel I like make decision based on like Facebook ads data more often. So that's what I do at the moment.
Okay, got it. Cool. So let's move
Yeah.
into the next one. So when you drive people to the landing page, right? Let's say the ad is amazing, the creative is amazing, the targeting is amazing, the campaign is amazing. People went to the landing page. And I'm not talking about landing page for e-commerce. I'm talking about landing page in general for any company, like B2B, B2C, or e-commerce. Like, what are the some important characteristics a landing page should always have to remember? Okay, think about your checklist. What you think in your head is when you think about landing pages.
Yeah, when I think about the landing page, is it should like first start with addressing the problem and whatever like people are facing, right? One, you need to go deep into the pain point and address your current audience, right? So once you start with them, and next what you should focus on is like including your product, right? How your product is solving their problems, and how like it comes into place. That is second phase. And like then third is like including the stories, right? How like we created how we saw the problem and how to solve that problem we created the product. Then fourth is basically small things, right? Reviews, and then like you can say also FAQs and all those. Those are like the things which are natural there, but if you can include, start with their pain points, then how your product is like solution of their pain points and the stories behind it, then it's a great way to build, have the like things on landing page.
So the way I think about landing pages is that it should have an amazing headline, and headline that as soon as they
Yeah.
get to the page and say, "Oh, um, I want to read more." The first line's job is to read them. Second line,
Yeah.
the second line job is to read them. The third line. So so that's like headline is the most important thing, and the hero image is also very important to get them attracted to that thing.
Yeah.
It should actually answer the ad itself. It should not be relevant, but like it should. What? How can you help me? Why should I trust you? Um, like how does it work? Um, what are the benefits? And then
Yeah.
the last question I asked myself is
Tell me more.
um, like basically testimonials and if frequently asked questions or like some kind of a objection people have up front.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
one thing that I can tell you is that on landing page I try to show rather than tell. So I don't say, "Hey, look, we
Yeah.
are so great," rather than like, "Hey, look, this amazing game that your kid is going to play," or like how other parents are talking about you. So I think landing page copy is really important. So that's regarding the landing page. Let me get into the next question, which is yeah how long should you run an unprofitable ad set? Let's say you know that it's getting
Mm,
above the budget, and so should you immediately turn it off or should you wait? One thing that I saw on Twitter where you talked about like, hey, if you have like an unprofitable like ad, don't immediately turn it off. Like wait 3-4 days to see the results and then turn it off. So like,
yeah.
how long should you run an
Yeah.
ad if it's unprofitable?
Yeah. And like one thing I feel like, people, they make decision based on daily performance. And like anyone who runs Facebook ads, he knows like Facebook ad is very volatile, right? One day you will have like, you will be getting 10 purchases. Second days, you will be having like 2, 3 purchases. So never make decision based on 1 day data. Make decision based on like, 3 to 4 day data, right? So like, let's say if any ad is not performing today, don't turn it off. Keep it running for like at least 3 to 4 days, and if still it's not performing, then you should turn it off. And like never ever like make decision based on 1 day data, because it's like Facebook ads is very volatile platform in general.
Okay, so let's hop into the next question, which is very interesting. When should you start your campaign budget optimization, and what is the difference between running a normal ad and campaign budget optimization?
Yeah, basically I run majority of my campaigns on campaign budget optimization because I feel it's more easy to scale. And like there are like two ways, like ad set budget optimization where you like set budgets on ad set level, and there is campaign budget optimization where you set budgets on campaign level, right? So like I run majority of my campaigns on like you can say campaign budget optimization, because I feel it's more easy to scale, and I'm giving Facebook more like power to like allocate the budgets accordingly, because on some days some ad set is performing really well, so Facebook will give more budget to those audiences. And if another day that like other audiences performing less, then it will give less budget to those audiences. Like one drawback is like when you don't know like which audience will perform or not, then like sometime when you are running like CBO campaigns, then Facebook will spend a lot on one ad set and it won't spend on other two audiences, right? So one thing which you can do is like set minimum ad spend limit on each ad set. So let's say like you are having a campaign whose budget is $500 a day. On each ad set, you set a limit of like $100 a day. Then like every ad set will at least spend $100 a day. Because like
Mhm.
one majority benefit of CBOs are like you can scale it easily from $500 to $1,000. You can scale it directly, and it doesn't require as much as manual work than its ABO, because then in ABO you need to go and like increase the budgets of each ad set on daily basis. If any ad set is not performing, you need to decrease it.
So I started running campaign budget optimization, and the problem that I come across is like, so one of the campaign that I added in campaign budget optimization thought was a winning ad set, and it was not. So
Mhm.
now the CAC is too high. Now the winning
Yeah.
ad set is running outside of the campaign budget optimization and inside the campaign budget optimization as well, and there is a losing one as well. Should I keep running campaign budget optimization even if it's losing right now? Like, how do you think about it?
Yeah, like for me, basically, when we were doing like before iOS 14 updates, it was performing really well. because then you can give Facebook a lot of ads, creatives, then a lot of you can say headlines, and you can say primary text, and it can figure out on its own which one is performing and which one is not for the dynamic ads. But after I feel after iOS 14 updates, it's not giving us the best result, because one of the drawbacks of dynamic creative testing, it's on some creative it won't spend any money, right? So how will you will never know if that creative is performing good or not. So I we were using dynamic creative previously a lot, but currently we are not using a lot, and we are testing dynamic every ads in a single ad set. So yeah, that's what
Okay.
we are doing at the moment.
So what I tried dynamic creative, and I think that my problem with dynamic creative is that dynamic creative ads is what is it? It's basically you upload multiple ads and see which one works,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
the problem with dynamic creative is that it was not reporting really well. I did not know which
Mhm.
actually ad is actually converting, which copy is
Yeah,
converting, which creative is converting, which CTA is converting, which headline is converting. I did not know. So that's why
yeah,
I decided to not run dynamic creative, because I want to know which concept is actually resonating more with our
yeah,
audience, and that's why
yeah.
I don't run dynamic creative. So we are almost till the end.
No
So
worries.
what are 5 common mistakes you see people make with Facebook ads? If
Okay,
you
just
cannot
a
come with
second. I
5,
have.
let's come up with 3. But what are the
Uh,
common mistakes you
Give me
see
a
with
second.
Facebook ads?
Okay. So number one, as we discussed, is not using the right objective, right? People start with traffic and other things. So this is the first mistake which I see majority of people making. It's not using right objective. Also if they are using right objective, then they will optimize for landing page views, conversion, then add to cart. Instead of if you want purchase or lead, then optimize for that objective only, and optimize for that thing only, right? Because you get what you ask for from Facebook. So this is first mistake which majority of people make. It's they, you can say, they run traffic and other campaigns, but instead they want conversion. So if you want conversion, focus on conversion. Then second is people don't have patience, right? They will start an ad, and on the daily basis, on if they have started ads today, tomorrow only they will start making the changes, right? Oh, it's not converting, let me change the creative, change the headline and everything, right? But once you change the things, then it will again go to learning phase, right? So give whenever you're starting anything, give it at least 3 to 4 days to give you a correct amount of data if it's converting or not. So second thing is patient, and third thing is
Just to talk about learning phase. Just to talk about learning phase quickly. Learning phase is really important. Learning phase means that you have 50 at least conversion in that ad set or
conversion.
campaign to actually know if it's
Yeah,
working. And learning phase, if you stop ads and run ads and stop ads and run ads, if you change something major about it other than the budget, then it will stop learning. So the idea is to not once you run the ads, run it until if you see conversions, keep running until 50 to let Facebook
yeah,
understand who's actually converting to drive more similar people. Okay, go ahead. Third
yeah.
one.
So yeah, third one is they don't exclude middle and bottom of the funnel from their top of the funnel campaigns, right? So whenever you are running cold audience campaign, then you need to exclude your middle and bottom of the funnel audiences. So let's say whenever you will start the Tofu campaigns, then Facebook knows these are the audience who have previously came to your website. So your cold audience campaign will also go to those audiences first, which is what we don't want, right? We have specific campaign for those audiences. So exclude website visitors, previous engagers, purchasers in from your top of the funnel campaign. So majority of people don't do that, so that is also one thing.
I
And
didn't do that, so now I'm suffering because my customers see my ad and they say you're selling too much.
yeah, yeah. So that is third part. And fourth thing is they don't do you can say a lot of testing in terms of creatives, right? So you need to constantly test what type of creative is working, and sometimes they stretch too much on the brand image. But I know brand is something which is very necessary, but there are few time where you will have conflicts, right? it is converting, but like it is not something like which is uh, like which I want my brand to show. Like, but like this is also something people focus too much on branding and then it doesn't convert. So this is something like many people make a lot of mistake with. And fifth is like, they don't learn from the data, right? So whenever you see the data, then you need to know that like, data is trying to say you something, right? It's like, whenever you run ads, then as we discussed about the columns, right? When you make those columns, you will get data where there is leak in the funnel, where audience you are losing the audience, right? If your CTR is not good, your creative sucks. Like if you are like, people are coming to your landing pages, but they are not adding to cart, then your like, landing page needs to be changed, right? So learn from the data, and according to the data, make changes to your creative, make changes to your landing pages, and from there onwards, like as you like, make change on any of the stuff, then you are above level which you were previously, right? So the ads will really, the coming like ads which you will run, they will perform a lot better than what you will running from previously. So yeah,
Yeah.
this are
One
some.
question for you. One question for you. So, at what point you find like the brand image should not compromise on the ad? Like, what level do you think like, okay, this is a bit too harsh? Because that's what I also get. Like, okay, like running Elon face is something like was no from Facebook, but like for example, I
Yeah.
wanted to run like stop scrolling kind of ads, and they're like, no, this is too salesy. Like
Yeah.
when it like, how do you find the balance?
Yeah, it's basically as you told, like about Nick Sharma, he talks about like, brand performance marketing. So like if you can focus on that, like it's like, the stuff is like, when you will find something which is converting really well, but your team will ask to turn it off because like, it doesn't meet the. Yeah, like he talks about like, brand performance marketing. So that is like, something which you should try to do is like, try to include brand image as well, like, and also try to like have, but it's like difficult way, right? Because you need to be little bit show your unique selling proposition, you need to show that call to action at the end of the video to get conversion, and like that is something like people say that it doesn't resonates with my brand. So you need to find a good balance between like, what resonates with your brand and with your like ad. And also one thing which is like, which lot brand stress about, but I don't believe in, is like, like let's say if someone doesn't knows a lot about your brand, he hears about your brand for the first time, right? Like for him, you are not a brand, right? You are just like, another ad. So like try to show them unique selling proposition of your product, how your product can change like, his life, and how it can bring value to his life, instead of showing your brand or something like that. So I feel that is one focus like you should have.
Cool. Is there anything that you want to add before ending this podcast? Because so first of all,
Yeah.
where can people find you and how they can get in touch with you if they want to work with you or get some advice? And then like, is there anything that I'm
Yeah.
missing?
Yeah, like basically like you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn, so I will like give the link here. So my LinkedIn, and from my like Twitter, I'm a lot active on there, so you can connect with me on there. So and about third one thing is like, as I also tweeted a few days ago, it's like don't attach your emotion to your like, results of your Facebook ads. So like otherwise like, you will have emotional roller coaster, right? On some days you will find good results, on some days you will have bad. So you need to like, don't attach your emotions, because then you will also not be able to test it properly, right? See it as like, yeah, don't attach your emotion to it, and just like focus more on testing and finding what's working best.
Got it. And the last question, how do you scale it? How do you scale an ad campaign?
So yeah, I have like, it's quite one of the biggest answer. So like the one thing which you need to make sure before scaling your ad account is, for sure you need to be mentally prepared that your ROAS like will go down and your cost per acquisition will increase, right? If you know both of this stuff, like yes, I'm okay with that, my ROAS might increase, like might decrease, and my cost per acquisition might go up, then like then only you should go and scale up. So as we talked about previously, like, you should follow all the best practices, like having like using CBO campaigns, using like having simplified ad account structure, having different creative for every stage of the funnel. Those are like, the necessities which you have before scaling your ad account. Once you have all those things in place, then there are two type of scaling. One is vertical scaling and one is horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling, let's talk about that, where you increase the budget on already performing ad sets, right? On already performing campaign. So let's say like, you're running a campaign on like, $400 budgets, right? And if you're like happy with that and your CAC is below your target CAC, then you can go from like, $400 to $800 on it, right? If it's performing, then like go from $400 to $800. Give it another 3 to 4 days. If it's still performing good on $800 and if your CAC is below what your target CAC is, then keep it running and like increase from $800 to $1,000, right? And this is how you need to keep increasing. And one thing which you will find, like, until and unless it holds the performance, right? So let's say if you increase from $800 to $1,000, but the cost per acquisition and your like cost per acquisition has skyrocketed, right? So like, decrease from $1,000 and to $800 back again. And then you need to like again include more creatives and like, then try to again scale it from 800 to $1,000. Like until and unless it holds the performance, keep scaling it. And if isn't holding the performance, then like scale it down. And one more thing is like, give it at least 3 to 4 days before making any decision. So this is like, what we talked about vertical scaling. Another is horizontal scaling, right? So once you are doing this, like you need to make sure like, simultaneously you are testing audiences, you're testing creatives, right? Because an audience which is performing today might not perform tomorrow, right? So you should have other audiences as well, which you can utilize to scale. So like, as we talked to like, about like synthesis, right? So if homeschooling is performing better, right? So like till then you need to keep testing other like, your purchasers look alike, your Instagram engagers look alike, then broad audience where you are just targeting parents, right? If you will keep testing those audiences, then you will have another sales angle, right? And let's say like, you run ads for people who are interested into tech and parents who are into tech, right? So like that is another audience, right? You can scale, that is another group of audience which you will unlock if it's performing. So this is how like, you can scale horizontally and vertically. And yeah, like this is basically how scaling works.
Okay.
Like until and unless it hold.
Last question.
Yeah.
So let's say my ads are working. This Tofu ad conversion ads are working already with a specific audience interest, and I want to test a new creative. Should I create a new campaign, new ad set, and test the same audience rather than changing anything in that? Correct?
Yeah, for sure. You should not use like, new creatives in existing audiences only.
Okay.
Because like then you will not get like, you can say enough spend on that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Any resources that you want to recommend people to like stay updated with Facebook ads content, or like something that people like, let's say now somebody like me who is beginner to, let's say, intermediate on Facebook ads, like where do you think we should go and learn more about Facebook ads and keep ourselves updated?
I feel like, Twitter is a great place. There you can find a lot of things. And one more thing is like, learn based, wherever you are stuck, learn based upon that, right? So if you are into like, communities, a lot of communities are there, like, on Facebook and all those. So you are like, on Twitter and LinkedIn. So you are part of those communities. You are learning based upon that. And second thing is like, keep learning based upon wherever you are stuck, right? So if there is anywhere you are stuck, just like, try to search on Google and YouTube and try to get answer of that specific thing instead of like, finding new things, right? So like keep yourself updated with like from like communities, then like from Twitter, and like wherever you are stuck, just try to find like answer of that specific topic.
So which communities on Facebook group you will recommend, which communities or what kind of accounts you will suggest to follow on Twitter?
On like, Twitter, there are many accounts. Like if you say Nick Sharma also drops a lot of value on Facebook ads. Then there are like, there is a guy called Mark William, And there are like a lot of people. I can link to the resources. I don't I'm not recalling all of the name now, but I can link to the resources in in this in the podcast only. So that's the one thing which I can do.
Will do that. Thank you so much for coming over, Badal, telling our audience all the secret that people pay for. And yeah, people go follow Badal on Twitter and LinkedIn. Badal Pandey is his name. You will easily find him.
This is Growth Marketing Story with your host, and he goes by Azar. Come learn from the mindset of growth marketers. This is Growth Marketing Story with your host.